Hello, welcome to to Cosmic Love Connections with your host Judy Jewett and with co-host Catherine Lanigan. Hello, Catherine.
Good morning. How are you, dear?
I'm great. So what was happening is I had to, according to Instagram, soon as I went live here, then I was to hit the live button on Instagram.
Okay.
And which confused me because I've never had to do that before. And that's why I couldn't talk and chew gum and walk at the same time.
I know. Multitasking is on its way out the window as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, so we have all kinds of exciting things to share, new beginnings.
Yes, we do.
You've brought in some beautiful information and things that have happened to you around the world,
Hmm.
and I have too. So we've been on our adventure. I've been in California. You've been in California and Arizona and Egypt.
In Egypt.
Yes, yes.
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 Yes,
So
yes.
if you don't mind, I know we're going to talk about all these great new beginnings. Can you share anything that about Egypt that would be a part of the new beginnings?
Yes, absolutely. First of all, the tour that we went on was a small tour, and everyone there was, I want to say, we were all on kind of a spiritual adventure. So everyone was this particular group was of a like mind. We had several energy workers, we had several Reiki masters, we had a couple of PhDs, who had been to Egypt many times, were literally measuring the sacred geometry of the pyramids and some of the temples. We went to every single pyramid. Bill went inside every single pyramid. I didn't go inside all of them because there was a lot of crawling and a lot of crawling, and I can't crawl anymore. After I broke my arms, I've got two plates in this arm and then one plate on here. And when you're crawling, I mean, it's like only 30 inches high, this tunnel that you have to go through. So once you start crawling, you can't back out. There's all those people behind you. So you have to keep going. And it's like 150 yards. So I mean, it was truly a young man's task to do this stuff, but he did it all. And then there was every single temple we went to. Two of my favorites. My favorite, I think, of the temples was Isis's temple, which the first we had to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and get on a boat and go down the Nile. We went down the Nile on a boat from the hotel that we were at that time. And her first temple is now partially underwater, which is very interesting. I did not know that until I got there. And there's only parts of it that are still able to be seen above the Nile. And then we went a little further down the Nile, and they had at some point in time, and now I can't remember how many thousands of years ago that they did it, but they moved the temple, recreated, literally moved columns and everything, and then put it on much, up higher on a hill, so where it is dry. And that was unbelievable for me to when we walked off the boat, and there's still that grand palace courtyard thing. It looks, it's literally almost like, when you think of St. Peter's Basilica in Rome, you always think of all the people outside where the Pope comes out and stands on the balcony. Well, this was just as huge, and we were there very early in the morning. I mean, when we started out, it was dark. We walked down this hill. I mean, we rode a bus and got to this place where the boats were. And I mean, we walked down this hill and you couldn't see a thing. So it was that dark. So I would guess that we got there just shortly after dawn, probably 5:30 in the morning. So there was no one else there. It was just our group that was there in this huge temple. And just the way that the breeze came through the columns right off the Nile. I mean, I could smell flowers and things that were literally like from a past memory, a past life memory or something. That was really amazing for me. We had several experiences there, but just seeing all of the hieroglyphs and all that, it was, you know, when you go from temple to temple, all the hieroglyphs start to all look the same. I kept taking pictures of everything, and I said to Bill, I go, well, what temple is this in? Well, how do you know? They all look the same, right? Then the other one that was truly I was not prepared for was a very private tour to Thutmose the Third's temple, which is actually underground. And we had to climb downstairs and all the, steps really to get to it. And what makes it interesting and unusual is all these hieroglyphs are different, very different. And this is not open to the public. It's only by private tours. They're a little on the pricey side, but how many times you're going to go to Egypt, right? Well, the writing that's on the walls, that's very interesting because all of the writing, our Egyptologist was the one who took us through the temple. The bottom, usually it was the writing that was on the lower part of the hieroglyphs. If it was in red, those were messages and information that had come from the extraterrestrials then. So I find that very, very interesting that, here it is right on the walls, as those are extraterrestrials writing on the wall. And it showed what a Stargate looked like, how you went to the Stargate, how you got through the Stargate, what was going to happen to you after you went through the Stargate. It was very, very interesting. And now in that place, I did take pictures of every single frame that I could all the way around the room that we were in. And then there was this sarcophagus that was kind of like not in the middle of the room, but almost in the middle of the main room. There were other little rooms off to the sides that we went into, but in this main area was this, it was like black granite, I think it was black marble. But on the sides of it were all kinds of hieroglyphs all the way around the sides. And I was standing on the far side, if the head's here and the feet here, and it was not a tomb. It was not, nobody was buried there. Nobody's in it. It was never, once you go to Egypt, you realize all of these things are not tombs. They are energy or battery centers. It might be a center for a battery or some kind of something that creates energy. That's each one of these things is very obvious that this is where energy was made. But anyway, so we were standing around this sarcophagus thing, and there was this probably to about here, about my chest, maybe 3 feet, was a hieroglyph of Thoth, of the god Thoth, the one that had the like jackal head, and he was the one that's supposed to have brought language, mathematics, all these kinds of things to humanity. And as I was standing there, I kept looking at it. Now it was, drawn out and then had a little bit of like a gold look to it. But as I kept looking at it and staring at it, it got more and more gold all the time. I mean, it just really started glowing. Well, I took a photograph of it when it was glowing, and it shows.
Oh,
We had groups that went, a group would go off this way or that way or this way. And with that group, there were times when one of the gods would appear to them and they took pictures and it shows up in a photograph. That's pretty interesting. So I found that like really, really unbelievable. But the last day, now we were gone almost 3 weeks, and for the last day of the tour, the last thing that everybody did was they went into the Great Pyramid at Giza, which was a long climb up into the Pyramid of Giza. Now, I didn't go because there was crawling. There was, in fact, we had to sign a waiver for that one because it was difficult. And it was also 130 degrees inside the pyramid. Now, Bill went in, but I did not go. I stayed in the bus, which was supposed to be an air-conditioned bus, but the driver turned the air conditioning off, and it was 105, 108. for an hour and almost 2 hours in the bus. So, I mean, I'm sitting in the bus just drenched in sweat. But anyway, I was meditating on my side of everything, and he was on, he and the group were inside and they were meditating on the inside. And I saw the walls in my meditation. I saw the walls pulsating, and I thought that can't be real. And I opened my eyes and I'm still seeing this pulsating walls of the Great Pyramid of Giza. That's impossible, right? So when they were all meditating on the inside, I was doing it at the very same time that they were doing it. And the woman who is the Egyptologist, she told us later, she was standing just on the outside of, she was inside the pyramid with everybody, but they were in the king's chamber, and she was standing in the doorway of the king's chamber over here, right? She said, I have been in this business for, decades and decades, and I have taken hundreds of groups into the Great Pyramid, and they've, done their meditations, groups that said they were spiritual. And she said, this is the first time the walls of the Great Pyramid pulsated.
Wow.
Exactly. And those kinds of things, I mean, we could have an entire show of all the kinds of stuff that went on and happened, but it was a very different, everyone there was high energy. Everyone came back and said, my whole life has changed. So when we were coming up, when you were coming up with the title, New Beginning, and I was just like, boy, is that ever apropos? It really is. We all were raised in our vibration of just to begin with, much less, a whole new outlook on everything. Yeah.
That was, gosh, that was beautiful and wonderful.
Yeah. It was just really, really amazing. It was one of the, I've wanted to go to Egypt since I was a little girl. And it was a trip of a lifetime. It was a beautiful tour. The hotels we stayed in were lovely. But it's something that I know no matter what happens to me the rest of my life, that cannot be repeated. That group that was chosen to come together and be there could not ever be repeated the way that it was, and we had several mediums, we had several psychics, we had um, medical mediums that were there, healers. I mean, so everyone was that kind of energy worker, certainly understood a lot more than just somebody who just wanted to go and gaze at the Giza or go for a
Right.
camel ride. Yeah,
That
which
sounds,
we did that too.
that sounds beautiful. Just
Yeah,
gorgeous to
yeah.
be able to do that. Yeah, well, thank you for sharing
Oh,
the new
absolutely.
beginnings that you also went through. And then, okay, anything else about your other trips you want to share with new beginnings?
And then when we went to Contact in the Desert, which was, we came home from Egypt, and I had 3 days to do the laundry, which doesn't seem like much, but when you've got camel dung on your jeans and everything's been sweated in for 3 weeks, and I mean, I still had sand in my sneakers when I got on the train to go to California. Doing the laundry was a big deal. We unpacked, did the laundry, packed, and left in 3 days. And by Monday morning, we are on a train and went to California. And it's a 3-day train trip to get there. We were there for about 5 days altogether. For 3 days, we worked at Contact. And what we did was these were Bill had several lectures with the crystal skull, and had all these beautiful slides that he has that are now 100 years old, when the skull was originally found at Lubantoon in Belize by Anna Mitchell Hedges and F.A. Mitchell Hedges. And but then after, what we mostly did was we had private sessions with individuals. And those private sessions were, every single one was an absolute new beginning for that person. And there was a lot of just clearing their energies, but the skull was able to tell that person where a lot of what their powers were, but put them on the path that they're supposed to be on if they weren't already, or validated the path that they were on, or something that they were supposed to do with one of their abilities that they hadn't focused on. Or so everyone that walked out had a new beginning.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Had a new
Boy,
beginning.
isn't that wonder? I mean, I thought, okay, the title, I need it now. And it was
Yeah.
New Beginnings.
Yeah.
Gosh, we are so in sync.
Yeah. Yeah. Imagine that.
Yeah.
But it was really something. We did, I think 35 or 36 people we saw, which is, we worked from 8 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock every night.
Wow.
We barely had a break for lunch, and that's the only break we got. I mean, there were a couple of times when I really had to go to the bathroom and couldn't get there. And so I was like, I gotta have 5 minutes to run to the restroom. But I mean, it was just, it was lovely. I mean, it was really nice. They took care of us this time, and we had a nice suite that was just not only, we would go out of our room where we were giving our lecture in the sessions, and we walked down a few paces, took an elevator, went straight up a floor, and walked off the elevator right into and I mean, so we could go lay down and take 15 minutes, even if it's just 15 minutes, to just lay down, for my back. And because sitting for all that kind of time, our legs would go numb, so it was tough.
Yeah, but it sounded like you really helped a lot of people.
We did. We
That's
really did.
awesome.
We really did. It was
Yeah,
it was very self-satisfying for us, just having all those really nice people who just said, I just don't know what to do. And the skull would say, well, here it is. Let me tell you.
yeah,
Pretty cool.
that's amazing. When I was in California there for 2 weeks, I was at Deer Park Monastery. That is a Buddhist
Right.
monastery. And it's my fourth visit, and staying for 2 weeks. 16 days was really easy for me to do this time. I
That's
did
good.
record close to 41-minute videos that I will start on Monday. I'll get them posted for Monday. I'll start, and they're 4 reels, the R.E.E.L.S, and it had to do with conversations with a little Buddha's mom. And so what I did is walked around. I have more to record of just extraordinary things that happened for
Mhm.
me, like everything at the monastery. You're just in love. You're in amazement that you may walk down and you, because it's on top of a mountain and a valley still, and then you walk down to go to where the sisters are. They have their own monastery, and so there's like I think 300 or 400 or maybe more acres, and at the top is where all the monks are. And there's just there's a lot of buildings, like small buildings, like when I first went there, I thought, oh my God, it's going to be like this. I'm thinking Catholic, right? And I'm not
Right.
Catholic,
Yeah.
but I'm thinking this big monastery with all these monks, and it wasn't like that at all. It was very, very different. But I had some real quality time with my one son, which was extraordinary. I love his path that he has chosen. As a parent, you think, what, your child's going to go be in a monastery and not have a family, abstain from worldly things. You go through
Yeah.
all, but there's nothing that could be more fulfilling is to watch your child go through the path of enlightenment.
Yeah.
It really is. It's just absolutely astounding. And the energy is so high, the vibration. They have a lot of people from the outside that comes usually on Sundays, and they do Dharma teaching. They do a meditation. They have usually chanting. So it's, like I
That's
said,
so
it's all,
lovely.
yeah, it's just all high vibration. I would go and meditate when I could, which if I was there every time but one. And I was talking to a good friend in California, and I looked at the clock and thought, oh no, a nighttime meditation. I missed it. But we would meditate we would leave our rooms at 5:30 in the morning and walk, because the meditation started at quarter till.
Okay.
And then you would be there 45 minutes, and then you would get ready to go to breakfast. And then I did not do the working meditation, and I only did walking meditation, which are usually morning activities if my son wanted me to. And other than that, I would be working. I would be working on my stuff. And then we had a meditation then at 5 o'clock at night.
Mm-hmm.
They went on a summer schedule, my last day there, and now it's like at 7 o'clock in the evening. So the temperature, because it's pretty hot in California.
Yeah, it is.
It,
Right.
it is. And so it's, a very different schedule. You're not yipping and yapping all the time.
Right.
That's, and being mindful is really about going within.
Yes, it
Um,
is.
it's amazing to be around so many men and women who have an open heart,
Mm-hmm.
that have dedicated their life going within, to know their spark.
Yeah.
The spark within
Yeah.
the Creator. It's just beautiful.
It sounds so lovely. Just so
I
lovely.
went down one time and had dinner. The monks, once, I don't know if they do this once a week or once a couple of times a month, I don't know. They literally, I mean, these monks are all different ages, these guys are.
Oh,
And
really?
there's a lot of the monks that are literally from the United States. They literally are not, from Vietnam.
Oh,
Most of
that's
the
interesting.
sisters are from Vietnam.
Okay.
And there's no reason other than, in the United States, we're very competitive, right? I mean, that's it. But as a monk, you're not.
Right.
And so the point is, you start at the top and you walk quickly because you want to, this is exercise, to the bottom of the gate where the gate is, and that's 1.5 miles. And
Okay.
then they came back up. And I thought about it and I thought, no, I'm not going to do that one. I'm not, there's just no way. I've walked up the mountain, and I'm serious. There are like places that you just feel like you're going to tip over. It's so steep.
Yeah.
That's how I would describe it.
Right.
So I went and visited one, sister, and it was so sweet because I learned some things about the culture and how she's been a monk. I'm sorry, a sister since 19. And this is, so she's been a nun since 19, and now it's like 19 years later. I mean,
Really?
when you go into that sort of lifestyle and commitment of the Buddha transmissions, it's literally going back and opening back up to that pure heart if they didn't already have it, which
Yeah.
coming from Vietnam, it was very big culture. It's an
Yeah.
honor to go into that, right? And so, the sister and I talked. It was great. And I didn't know that she was a Dharma teacher. I knew that she wrote songs, and I knew she played a guitar.
Okay.
And when there's a performance, which, the Thich Nhat Hanh Monastery in California is probably more westernized, right, than other places. So twice or once a year or whenever, if something is special, they'll have music. They'll have musicians, and there'll be
Oh,
music people that are a nun or a sister, right? I mean, a brother,
yeah. Yeah.
a monk, or I should say it correctly. I should say if they're a nun and a monk, or a brother and a sister, because they refer to themselves as brother and sister. One other thing I want to share, and I was not with the sister and two, women that were staying at their, monastery. I wasn't with them, but I can tell you that it is snake season in California. And in the mountains, they basically have two poisonous snakes. They have other snakes. I saw one little black snake, not a big deal. And they're two kinds of different, rattlesnakes. And
Oh,
people were seeing rattlesnakes. If it wasn't like, I heard, oh, we had to catch a rattlesnake, and that would probably be several times a week. So when they
ah,
catch them, they don't kill anything.
yeah.
They catch the snake, they put it in a trash can, they put the lid on it, they take it down to the gate, they let the little critter out, and they take mice down there. I don't know what else they take.
Oh, geez.
Snakes, they take
Yeah.
whatever is in their space down there. And
Mhm.
so back to the story about the sister. The sister said, one of the, not sisters, I heard it not from the sister, I heard it from one of the women. She said, all of a sudden, the sister said, stop. So they decided to go up a trail, is what I'm saying. And they were on the trail, they had to stop. And the sister said, there is a copperhead. She could hear the rattles. And the copperhead was on the side and it was coiled.
Yikes.
Well, what is so beautiful is rattlesnakes and snakes are not really aggressive. And
Right.
this is going to show you what happened. They stopped, and all the rattlesnake wanted to do was to cross the path on the other side. And it uncoiled, went across the road, and went about its business.
I
And
love it.
yeah, but think about it. You want to hold your breath, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. So, to go along with our topic of new beginnings, it's always a new beginning because every day Buddha says is a new beginning.
That's right.
And so I want everyone to remember, no matter what their day is like, when they wake up the next day, it is a new beginning. So if you're having chaos in your day, stress, frustration, keep remembering to breathe. And it's all
Mhm.
about deep breathing. Pay attention. If you're holding your breath, being a shallow breather, or you're breathing in the air all the way, that will help you. And pause, because when you pause, even if it's for a few seconds, 5 minutes every hour, you get back to your breath, you're allowing your divine self, the spark, to engage, because the
Right.
spark, God, the creator, engages in neutral energy of just being,
Right.
right? And so
Yeah.
that will help, with the new beginnings of bringing in more love and light. And
Hmm.
definitely, if you're in California, New York, or Louisiana, or Mississippi, there are Thich Nhat Hanh monasteries there that you can set up a time, see what the activities are, and go. It's well worth it. Um, and it's well worth it, I will tell you, to take on the traditions, whether, because I'm not a Buddhist, okay, but I
Yeah.
definitely am. It's in my consciousness to become mindful, and you become mindful in 5 different ways, and to practice that, because that will bring more peace in my
Yes.
life, in the crazy world that we live in.
Yes.
So, with that, anything else you want to share about new beginnings?
Um, there are several people that just recently, and I'm thinking about the people that we, helped at the thing is at the contact in the desert, and some that have come to us is they're I want to say their life, like one of them, like their life was just shattered. Everything was like it was at the end of their rope. If you feel like you're at the end of your rope, and just remember is just stop, and just say, all right, that's the way everything was 1 minute ago. And you make a decision to choose, think positive, and choose and move on to something new that you want to create. What is it that you want to create? We are all the creators. And every single minute of every single day, we have a chance to choose something positive, something new, something better, something more wonderful. You know, I can remember somebody saying to me one time, he said, well, you're always happy. And I said, because I choose that. I choose to be happy. Why would I want to choose anything else? You know, I choose it. If it's raining, oh, wasn't that great? You know, the trees are loving it. The plants love it. The animals love it. If it's whatever it is, if it's snowing, it's beautiful. Choose to make that positive choice. Even if even if you suffer from super depression, that you still can make little choices. You know, I choose to just look, to just sit and breathe, just like you're saying. I agree with you totally. When you want to make if you want to make a change, you have to stop and breathe. Take a deep breath. My mother would always say, stop, take a deep breath, count to 10. Whether you're angry or confused or don't know what to do, frustrated, just stopping and setting.
Oh no, Catherine, what happened to you? Catherine. Okay, so it looks like,
There we are. I'm back.
okay, all right.
Sorry about that.
Yeah,
Anyway, that's my last thought.
okay, be happy. So be happy. It's always a
Yeah.
choice. We're going to spend more and more time. We're going to continue talking about love. We might make reference to non-love because that is coming up for both of us.
Yes, it
And
is.
to help, because right now I do want everybody, you may already know this, but as we are in this process of great change, 5 dimension, if you are a woo-woo person, if you are a light worker, if you're a practitioner, if you are a spiritual seeker, I don't care who you are, and you thought 5D, or you even knew what 5D was, and you thought, and all these hundreds of books out about 5D, folks, that is not where you got to keep going. 5D is not the end.
That is not the end. You've got to keep going.
Keep going. And
Absolutely.
right now, Gaia, the planet Earth, is now already in 6th dimension.
It's in the
And
6th dimension.
in this stage, remember that your words and your thoughts are going to go faster and faster of creating.
That's correct. That is correct.
And I've experienced over and over again of saying something and see that if I'm shifting energy for someone or something, that it happens in now time.
Right.
There's no long healing. The old methods of healing, folks, are no longer working. You're going to have to upgrade everything you're doing. And so with Gaia already in 6D, the first thing, remember that things happen instantaneously. So if you find there is more things in your life that is happening that is causing you pain and suffering, you need to stop. You need to reflect. You need to go in and breathe and change it.
That's correct.
It can change at every given moment. It can change. And as this energy will keep intensifying, because it is like, if you've ever been in love, and love will bring up everything that's not love. So if you're experiencing love and you love, go back and reflect like, oh yeah, and these things happened, right? So anything and everything that is not love will come to the surface to just let it go. And that's Gaia. The same thing is going to happen in this great change. There is going to be more things happening on a planetary level.
Yes.
More things with possibly around the weather. And because that's one way, the extra heat, I feel like the oceans are going to get hotter. There's going to be more things. And then next year, we must be prepared, because next year we will begin seeing more and more things. Some things later this year we will begin feeling and seeing, and we must be prepared.
Yeah, I agree.
And so we can ride the wave. And the
Yeah.
more you have gone within, the more you will experience things at a different profound level.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's what we're here to do, is to experience the spark that we are.
That's right.
One more thing I want to say, two more things. The spark in me is the spark in you. The spark in you is the same in me, meaning we all are part of the whole. There is not one person on this planet that is more powerful than you. There is not one person on this planet that can experience more miracles than you.
Mm-hmm.
There is no one on this planet that can experience more love than you, because that is how powerful you are.
That's right.
You have to breathe. You have to let it go and allow the clarity to come into your life, because with clarity, you will know if information being given to you is not real. You will be able to be more in tune with the material decisions you make as this spiritual being living this this spiritual being living a human experience, right? You're going to understand.
Right.
I'll give you an example. How about making a decision of something you want? You feel like it's right, but if you have the gift of discrimination, before it transpires, you're going to know, did you make the right decision? Did
Right.
you hire the right person? Did you get involved with the activity? Is it for the highest and best good? And then you can change it.
Yes.
And this is happening to everyone around the planet. Are you making the right decision? At are you ignoring your gut? Are you frazzled and beside yourself because you're not feeding the soul?
Mm-hmm.
It all is going to come down to self-love. Are you allowing the pure love that is in you, that is your soul, the spark? Are you allowing it to come through, to guide you, to allow that pure love to demonstrate every part of your life and decisions? And that is what we're here today to remind you, a new beginnings to allow happen.
That's right.
With that, we are going to go, and we will be back next Friday. Namaste.
Namaste.